Breaking news, President Trump pardons CZ of Binance. Now, I have a weird theory about this, and maybe, I don't know, I'm just trying to connect some dots. So looking at the timeline, obviously, Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, that all went under, right? And that was kind of the first domino to fall. And it turned out that when he testified, he said he was instructed to keep Bitcoin below $20,000. And he basically came out about, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, and he confirmed this on record. And I think that when you look at everything, the turn of events, maybe CZ, because he's been in crypto forever, he's the OG. And I think that maybe his hand was forced, and the reason why he decided to pay this $4 billion fine, go to jail, is maybe because he didn't want to maybe he didn't side with the Democratic Party or whatever the case may be. You guys can formulate your own opinions on that. However, I think that now we see this whole pro-Trump administration, and it's just kind of weird that there's just been all this weird stuff in the market, the whole liquidation event of Binance. You have all of the Trump administration, their cabinet, the sons of Trump, they're all launching all this crypto. And you look at where the money kind of went when they settled for the $4 billion that CZ initially had to pay to go into jail. And when you look at it, I believe it was sent in the form of a stable coin that was it looks like there's some connections with World Liberty Fi. So it almost looks like he was, CZ paid this money directly through the stable coin of World Liberty Fi, which is Trump's project. And this was in the form of essentially T-bills or treasury bonds, right? And so it's just a really curious thing, because when you look at all this pro-regulation, and then you couple that with obviously the massive liquidation event, nobody really knows the implications of that. And there's just been very unexplainable price action when it comes to Bitcoin. It feels very much like it's suppressed. And considering that previously, Sam Bankman-Fried stated that he was instructed to keep Bitcoin at a specific price, you kind of have to question, could that have been part of the plea deal or part of the deal with Binance and CZ? Were they, or have they been suppressing the price of Bitcoin, crypto, and all that kind of stuff so that these treasury companies and the administration, whatever the case may be, maybe so that they can accumulate and they can sort of have this war chest of just so much Bitcoin, and they're going to use this to kind of maybe reset the debt with the United States. All that's really speculation, but it's just really weird how he just came out in the midst of everything, right? We have all this war tension, we have tariffs, we have just max uncertainty across the board. And he just pardoned CZ, and then simultaneously we have Coinbase, they listed Binance. I believe Robinhood also listed Binance. So there's just it's a really weird reason as to why this happened. And I think connecting all the dots, it just looks very curious. And I think the good news in this is what are they gonna do? It's Trump can't look bad, right? Because if he has if he's the pro crypto president, he's very egotistical, which is not necessarily a bad thing. He's a great business person. And so when you look at this through a different lens, it's well, he doesn't want crypto to fail. He doesn't want to look stupid. And he wants to obviously probably benefit, either maybe himself, his close ones, the government, and more importantly, the United States, and probably all the people that voted for him based on, the policies of the, Bitcoin Strategic Reserve and the executive orders for crypto and stable coins and all this kind of stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see CZ being integrated into this in some sort of way, considering that Binance is basically the entire market. They're the ones that kind of say what goes, and they can control the price. They can do whatever they want, and they're obviously not regulated because they're not in American soil. So it's just really weird how the turn of events goes. And whatever your opinions are on Trump or CZ, I think the way that you guys can benefit is just use this as I guess just a confluence of whatever your plan is or your thesis, right? Because I just find it hard to believe that they're just going to let the markets just die out and go into this 4-year cycle and have it still play out and put us into a bear market. I think that the price of Bitcoin doesn't really make a lot of sense right now. And I think what could make the most amount of sense is, what if the price is just being suppressed in a way that allows the United States to accumulate? And when you look at it through different lenses, through politics and all that kind of stuff, it all plays in. And there's kind of not only is there this tariff war and all these kinds of different wars, but I think there's also a financial war where you have the BRICS against the dollar, against the Chinese yuan. And it looks like the Chinese is probably they're trying to back their money with gold, maybe, because they're buying so much gold, they're dumping the US bonds and the money in the dollar. I wouldn't be surprised to see, the United States even helping them prop up the gold to then like maybe convert that gold into Bitcoin. And then if you can control pretty much most of the Bitcoin like the United States is trying to do through their strategic reserve, well, then you'd probably have all the monetary power because you control all the Bitcoin, and the dollar is the strongest of all sorts of fiat. So that's my little kind of, theory. Let me know what y'all think. And I just wanted to bring you this time sensitive update to see, how y'all are taking the news. So that being said, smash the like button, share this video with a friend. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.